it's really important to have a plan. Have a plan and understand what your goals are.
In fact, my camel out there is suffering right now with a broken back.
So I actually found Pepe when it was only a couple of hours old, and I'm like, oh, this is a funny meme.
Oh my god.
Yo! Who is this DJ?
The old man is swing trading over years at a time. And it's like, that's where the real money is made.
The answer is a permanent loss. With single-sided staking, you don't have to worry about impermanent loss.
And really, at the end of the day, it's just a matter of a macro market. It's just what happens.
If you're aware, if you're disciplined, you can hone that into further financial growth.
Financial freedom. So we can actually live life and not have to be constantly living paycheck to paycheck. I mean, that's the ultimate goal, more or less, right?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, crypto degenerates, ducks and squirrels, welcome to this here special, fantastic episode of the Degen Roundtable. Whiskey Wednesday, Ask Me Anything for the 28th of May, year of our Lord, 2025. I apologize, Mrs. Producer. I just had to hit those accent drum button at the very end of the intro. I thought that was fucking hilarious. Anyways, for the folks at home who don't know, hello, my name is Will Stevenson. I'm an iron worker that travels the states and builds TV towers, and in my free time, I like to talk cryptocurrency to assholes and degenerates such as yourselves. And these fine ladies and gentlemen joining me tonight, we've got our Mrs. Producer, Mrs. McGettit. We're joined by Jonathan, Mr. 200 IQ, and also Mr. Nate McGettit of the Degen Roundtable. Ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing tonight? Mrs. Producer, I'm going to throw it over to you first, actually, because you're placeholding for Mr. Brendan Bean until he hops on the stream. So I want to ask you, what's new and exciting with you? You did a Pokemon thing recently, as I recall, right? How did that go?
What Pokemon thing? I do a lot of Pokemon things.
Oh, like you went and did like a card trading thing over the weekend, right? I remember you talking about it, like because I produced for one of the shows because you were doing Pokemon stuff. What's the scoop in the Pokemon world?
Well, not too much. We got a new set releasing on Friday, so everybody's going nuts over that. I went out yesterday and today. Some places are just like releasing it now because I guess they can, which is I've never really seen people do, but they are doing it this time. So I guess that is what it is. But so yesterday I got some stuff at my local store, and then today I saw this post for like this random place I've never been to, and I went there and I managed to get something. Even though I'd only been there for like 10 minutes, and some people have been lined up since like 4 a.m, I guess. So that was cool. The weekend thing though, that was just a card show. I was going around. They did it inside of a mall. So they just kind of lined up tables along, like, you know, when you go to a mall and they've got like those glass edges around like the upper floor and you can look down and you can see the bottom floor.
Oh, yeah.
They were just lined up all along those. And like the mall was just like continuing as normal. So it was a little weird because you have all the mall shoppers wandering around like, what the hell is this crap? And then you've got all the people who are there for the card show who are like, you know, trying to make their deals with all this other hubbub just going on constantly. So it was interesting. I was trying initially to get a table for it to sell my own stuff, but they ran out. So I just went as a regular person.
Well, that could be some cool like marketing for the people that have never done that sort of thing before, though, right? As they just see all these tables popping up, they're like, what is this?
Yeah, for sure. And like people ask questions, and so spread the word through that. It was fun. I met a lot of cool people, talked to a lot of cool people. I like going to these things just mostly to chat with people who are like long-term collectors like me, because you do run into at least a handful of them. So yeah, that was fun. That's about it with me. This whole week for me has actually the whole like last 2 weeks has just been nonstop Pokemon stuff because they're releasing. There was a release last week, not last week, but the weekend before, and then this week, like the whole week, people have been putting stuff out early, so it's kind of been like just trying to catch it this whole week. And then the big card show last weekend, and there's going to be more card shows in like 2 weekends, and it's nonstop right now.
Well, hell yeah. Awesome. Glad to hear that things
it's been
are going
fun.
well.
The last thing I want to share is I was talking to Nate about this. My local store, they did pre-orders for this new set that's coming out, right? And they weren't able to get what everybody wanted because it's just super short. Pokemon's not giving out enough of this stuff is basically the long and short of it. But they had somebody who had ordered a booster box, which is like the most expensive thing. It's got 36 packs in it. Easiest way to put it is just like the biggest item that has the most there.
Like a carton of cigarettes.
Yeah, actually, pretty much. That's pretty much accurate. And so they were originally not going to be able to get me a booster box because they had run out, and I was really disappointed. They ended up having somebody who thought they were shipping, and they weren't. So that person was not able to get their booster box, and they gave it to me.
Aha.
And I guess according to them, the decision was unanimous that they liked me enough to be like, you can have it. You can be the one person who gets this one that ended up being extra. So that was really cool. That made me feel really happy.
Excellent. So you did a card show. You went to a totally separate thing where you got some free Pokemon drugs, or maybe not free, but you got to get somebody else's drugs that they were supposed to get, and had just like crazy, awesome, fantastic times and things, right?
Yep, pretty much. And then I just got added to a VIP list for a different local store that I've only been there 4 times, and they're calling me a regular, and I'm like, I'm not going to correct you. I'll just take it.
Nice, excellent. Let's see how the other contestants on the show are doing. Mr. Jonathan, it's been a while since we've had you with us, Broski. What's new and exciting with you, good sir?
Well, I don't know if you call it new and exciting, but I've been, returning to my old routine. I've been going to the gym more often. I go 5 days a week now, more or less. I have a cheat week. Sometimes I go 4, 3. But
yeah.
I'm working out,
Good shit. I see the pull-up bar in the background, so
that's yeah. I got a pull-up bar. I got some, free weights here. I actually do like calisthenics at home, and then at the gym I use the squat rack. I do a bunch of free weights over there. I actually don't like machines. I just I get lazy when I use.
I love machines.
I prefer free weight. It's nice because it works multiple groups. That's what I like.
Sure,
because my time is really constrained. I'm only there for like an hour 15 maybe. Mm-hmm. But yeah, nothing's new. I've been studying. I've been learning a little bit of language. That's fun. Aside from that, no, I'm just chilling.
Nice. What language are you learning?
So I speak Spanish, and then I'm learning Arabic.
Ooh, okay. That's an unusual one. You can make big bucks in the military world by speaking Arabic. Don't join the military if you want my advice. But that's pretty cool, bro. Hell yeah. Mm-hmm. Most excellent. Well, good to see you, Mr. Jonathan. Glad you're going back to school and getting ripped and shredded and things. Mr. Nate, get it, broski. What's new and exciting with you, man? Welcome.
It's for me. It's kind of the same old, same day. Nothing's really different, and just still on the grind. Very busy. My work life is very much picking up. And so, as you can tell, wet hair, I literally just got home in time to take a shower, get out of the shower, and hop on the show here. Literally, what was it, 3 minutes or 4 minutes before it was actual start time. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, lots of fun
bro.
with that.
I got wet hair as well.
Well, I'm looking forward to a good show. Hopefully we got some topics and stuff to talk about. I'm going to go ahead and have myself, just a little bit of an enjoyment. I am a carbonated water enjoyer, so that's kind of my thing.
Maison Perrier and
hell yeah.
What are you drinking over there, Mr. Jonathan? Oh, you're muted. We cannot hear you. Did you unplug your headset?
Hello.
Aha, there we go. Much better.
I actually don't like bubbles.
You don't like bubbles?
No.
Are you drinking regular water?
Yeah, this is just water. Yeah.
Bro, that shit's poison. If you breathe that, you die. Be careful.
Okay. We got water droplets out in the air here.
Jonathan's got some water. Mrs. Producer, are you drinking anything tonight?
No, I meant to grab a drink and I totally forgot. So
fiddlesticks. I'm enjoying.
Actually, I'm gonna go do that right now. So I'll be right back.
Ooh, there we go. I'm enjoying some Shiner Bach prickly pear. That's what I'm having tonight, and it's this dark yellow, just like regular Shiner Bach. I've had Michelob Ultra prickly pear. Those are actually my favorite prickly pear drink. I think I like them a little bit better than these Shiners. The Shiners are a bit dark, and it's kind of like a strange strange taste mixture from what I'm used to. But yeah, other than that, Nate, I'm right there with you with the Topo Chico. I think this one is twist of lime, so you got that delicious thing. When you get the Maison Perriers, do you get the lime ones or the regulars?
So I actually get them from Sam's Club, all in bulk, so it's the unflavored ones.
Okay.
But I've also when I do flavored, I usually do like a sparkling ice.
Oh,
And then there's like many different flavors that I can get off of
yeah.
these ones, which is
Now
real
those
nice.
don't have sugar. Do they have like aspartame or or like what's the other one? Splenda or
Oh, I have no idea, bro.
okay. Because they are like sweet tasting, right?
Yeah, it is. It's a zero sugar thing, so obviously it's
Yeah.
like the fake stuff.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know specifically what they use.
Okay.
All I
I
know
would
is I like the flavor, and
Yeah.
it keeps me away from sodas. So
And there's 0 calorie, I think, right? Because there's no
yeah,
sugars in them. So
yep,
it's
yeah,
pretty
staying
cool.
away from soda. That's something that's really important for me, is just staying away from that sweet crap.
Yeah, it is addicting. It's super addicting. I think that like the world is starting to heal, and this might just be the people that I've surrounded myself with, but I'm like around
Mm.
soda a whole lot less. I drink way less Coca-Cola. Like Dr. Pepper used to be a big problem for me back in the Marine Corps, man. I used to be like 220, and
No, Dr.
I'm
Pepper.
like 190 right now, so like I'm much healthier than I was when I was in the military. But like, yeah, bro, I feel you, dude. The sparkling waters and things, they help me stay away from the Coke things by giving my brain that same like
Mhm.
mouth explosion feeling. So that's
Yeah, don't
interesting,
forget.
Jonathan, that you don't like sparkling water. We'll have
Well,
to we'll have to
I don't like sodas like at all. Like anything bubbly,
yeah,
I
yeah.
can't do it. But like
Yeah.
there's a fun fact.
Mhm,
Um, me being Filipino,
mhm.
if you did not know, a lot of like older generation Filipinos, they're addicted to Coke or Coca
Oh
Cola,
yeah. Yep.
right?
A lot of
And
Spanish speaking countries are.
yeah. So the reason is because there was a time when soda was cheaper than water, right?
Mhm.
And so, like, for them to, feel hydrated or for them to have something with their meal, they would just drink Coca-Cola or some form of, soda. Um, and then they've been doing it for so long. Like my family, for example, they can't go a day without a Coke or some form of sugary soda. And
Yeah.
I think that's the worst thing for you, because a lot of Filipinos, they have like health problems because
Yeah.
their meals are like sugar bombed every time with the soda.
Yep. Yep. And like drinking calories is way easier to stack calories throughout the day. And if you just think of your body as a basic math machine, like calories in minus calories out or slash calories burned, then like if you have more calories coming in than you burn, like they go somewhere. So they're generally stored up in fat cells and things, and that becomes a problem. So that is very common in a lot of Spanish speaking countries. And I know the Spaniards were the ones that sort of kind of went into the Philippines and established a very heavy presence there, like back in
Yeah.
the whatever the heck century. But like they didn't have Coke back then. But like a lot, like when Mexico started exporting Coke, Mexico's same problem as the Philippines. They're fucking super addicted to Coke. Same thing with El Salvador. Same thing with a lot of Central America countries. They love their sugary drinks, man. So good on you for staying away from that stuff.
Oh, I'm a victim myself. I like lemonade.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I mean, lemonade's fine. But
There's a lot of
like,
sugar in there.
yeah. But it's like, if you can dilute the lemonade and then it'll be okay. That's what I do, anyways. Whenever I go to like a lemonade machine, I'll like do like half and halvesies. Let's go ahead and transition on over into into the into the chat motherfucking shoutouts. I lost my train of thought there for a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for chat motherfucking shoutouts. One of the best parts of the show where we interact with you guys that are interacting with us. So let's take a look and see what we've got here. Mrs. Producer, if you would be so kind as to pull up first and foremost in the chats, we've got Mr. Kenturian 54X sliding in 30 minutes before the top of the hour when we went live saying, "What's up, D-Gens? What's up to you too, sir?" Mr. Centurion 54X, glad that we can have you in as our first chatter of the night, regaining your long-held title of the first chatter here on the DGen Roundtable. Good to have you, man. For those of you guys that don't know, Mr. Kenturian 54X is the dungeon master for the Degens and the Dungeons and Degens D&D campaign that we formed out of like an offshoot of the DGen Roundtable. Is like we meet up in Telegram every other Saturday. I believe this Saturday is actually the next one. And he leads us through fantastic and awesome stories. So shout out to you, Mr. Kenturian. I hope you're doing well. Next up is another great friend of the DGen Roundtable channel. We have Your Health Unplugged, aka my good friend Dr. Alan Chen. He says, cheers, Hexicans, to staking PLS like kings, chasing P.I. glory, and dunking on the FUD. Here's to our bags, our dreams, and mooning with Richard's tweets. Good sir, I
Hell
salute
yeah.
you. Shout
That's
out
what
to
I'm talking about.
Dr. Chen. I will drink to that, good sir, as soon as we're done with the chat shoutouts, because I got to keep talking for a little bit. Excellent toast. Next up in the chat shoutouts, we've got Miss Amber Simon. Amber Simon says hello. Hello right back to you, Miss Amber Simon. Shout out to you, ma'am. Glad to see you with us tonight. Next up in the chat shoutouts, we are also joined by Mr. Brightlight. Mr. Brightlight, I can't see the emoji because StreamYard shows me a box, but I'm going to show that it's I'm going to presume that it's Mr. Brightlight giving us a heart or giving us a thumbs up or a fire emoji or something like that. Because Mr. Brightlight is one of the most agreeable people in the cryptocurrency sphere. Shout out to you, broski, with your most agreeable token and your most agreeable streams. We fucking love to see you here, bro. And also shout out to your streaming. You guys should go check out his YouTube channel and see what he has to say. He's interesting to watch. Love you, bro. I think he'll be going on live later tonight, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember when he goes live, but I used to get notifications in the PulseTube Live channel.
I think you went on mute, bro.
Son of a bitch, I did go on mute. Look at that. Oh, my button is on my.
See, this is what happens when you
mouse
swap your
pad.
buttons around, man.
Yeah, I know. I forgot about that. It's like it's part of my mouse now. So if I press the
yeah.
the number 1 button on my mouse pad, it goes mute. Where did I cut off there? What was I saying? Was I talking about Brightlight? Shout out to Brightlight.
Yeah. Shout out to Brightlight.
Yep. Shout out to Brightlight and the agreeable tokens, and shout out to me not knowing how I'm muting my own self. Next up in the chat shoutouts, we are joined by Miss Tam Tam. Miss Tam Tam says, hello, my lovelies, with the little heart. Hello to you too, Miss Tam Tam. Glad that we could have you tonight. Number 1 cheerleader in Hexico, Pulse Chain, and the cryptocurrency space in general. Shout out to her. I think she's got the most engagement and the most like outbound reach with her Twitter. So good to see you, Tam. Welcome to the stream. Next up in the chat shoutouts, we've got Mr. Moonpilled Rational Optics, another real life friend of mine, saying, what's up, D-Gens, with the cheers. What's up to you too, sir? Mr. Moonpilled Rational Optics. Shout out to this guy. He makes so many fucking great, good book recommendations. Dude, we'll never be able to catch up to all the books that everyone's recommending for book club. But Mr. Moonpilled Rational Optics is definitely leading the charge in that respect. So good to see you, broski. Glad we can have you with us tonight on this Whiskey Wednesday. Also, we're joined by Mr. Moonmutt. Mr. Moonmutt says, hello, Degens. Good to be here tonight. Mr. Moonmutt, again, another one of my great real life friends. Good to see you, broski. Shout out to you. I'm glad that you could be here tonight as well, good sir. And then next in the chat shoutouts, we're joined by Mr. Vince. Now, Mr. Vince wishes for some education. He says, hey, what's the biggest LPs on DRT? I have a girl who wants to get in for educational purposes, of course. That's interesting because I don't know what women are in the cryptocurrency space other than Tam Tam and some other like Pulse Chain influencers. But if your girl is wishing to buy DGen Roundtable, then the biggest LP is currently like if you're interested in getting a position on the DGen Roundtable token, which I do not recommend because the token is like, we made it as a joke. It's total garbage and it doesn't do anything. Right, the biggest LP position is on the Function Island DEX. So Function Island, shout out to those guys, Dev Donnie and Frank White and some other gentlemen. They created a decentralized exchange on Pulse Chain called Function Island. So that's where you can find the largest DGen Roundtable LP. I think it has like 16 million or something DRT tokens over there. So that's where you can find that. So again, I don't recommend anyone buy the DGen Roundtable token because again, we made it as a joke. It doesn't do anything. There's like $100 or something of LP in that token. So caveat emptor, do as you wish, do as you please. But the largest pairing of the Degen Roundtable token is paired with the Function Island token. And then after that, I think it's like paired with Pulse or some other things. There's some other little shit coins that some silly gooses went and paired DRT token to. But again, it's a trash token. Probably shouldn't buy it. Next up in the chat shoutouts, we'll finish up chat shoutouts, and then I see we've got Mr. Brendan as well in the green screen with us. Hello, Brendan. I can see you, bro. We've got Mr. Laberdash saying, when Lambo? I am not sure when we're going to get the Lambo, bro. I suppose it depends on when you're going to put in more money, enough money to buy yourself a Lambo, and then you take it back out again. So that's when you're getting your Lambo. That's when everyone gets their Lambos. So it's good to see you, broski. Welcome to the stream. I don't think I've seen you before, so
yeah,
go ahead.
I don't think we've really seen him at all. And he said that every day he checks the price and the price is bad.
Good.
Which, I mean, yeah, that just means that you can buy more, dude. So
Yep.
ultimately, when you're talking about, win Lambo, hey, what's your price? What have you put in so far? If you've got more to put in, now's the time to do it, because it's not always going to be bad price. So, it's a bad price until it's a good price, right? So
Yes.
you might want to make sure that you are ready and prepared and have your money in for when it does become a good price. And the other thing too to think about is, yeah, Pulse Chain may be down along with all those cores and the other coins as well, but so is everything else. Basically, the only thing that is up currently is the Bitcoin. And yeah, even like Solana is really dropping off, and that was kind of the runner up. So, price bad until it's good.
Yes, indeed. I have something I want to say on the pricing and stuff, but it's going to be a bit of a monologue. So we'll go ahead and welcome our good friend, Mr. Brendan, the anonymous Bean here. Mrs. Producer, would you be so kind as to bring us up, Mr. Bean, Mr. Brendan, the anonymous Bean over on X? What's up, broski? What is new and exciting with you? Welcome to the stream. And do you have any thoughts on good price and bad price?
What's up, everybody? Great to see you. Sorry I'm a little bit late. Had somebody at the house come to look at it, trying to sell the house. So I'm late. Coming to look, got to leave the house. So got a little bit delayed. But what was your question?
Mr. Laberdash said, every day I check the price and bad price. I have a thought on this, and I wanted to give you the opportunity to respond on it as well.
I mean, first of all, it depends on what you're talking about. There are a lot of things that have bad prices. The question is it a good protocol or not? Is it going to be forever bad prices? So for me, I look more than just the price. I look at what coin we're talking about right now. I have no idea what to talk about. Don't even tell me about it. Just first of all, I do my research on the coin, the founder, the ecosystem, the people involved. Find out if there's any VCs behind it. Anybody that's had any issues in the past. And then I look at things like tokenomics, liquidity, pairings, what chain it's on. Like, there's so much that goes into it. I own quite a few tokens that are currently not what would be considered a good price, but I am ultra bullish on them. And therefore, I'm not really worried about the prices now. I've actually been able to accumulate far more than I ever anticipated. And actually, it gets me excited because I believe in the protocol so much, that being able to, honestly, I feel lucky, accumulate so many coins, so many tokens in such a longer than expected time, man. Also, because, for example, I'll give you one example, PulseX, a SAC for PulseX. That money looks really bad right now if you just look at how much down I'm on the SAC. But you don't no idea how much money I bought at the bottoms. And so how far we're off the bottoms, I'm in profit, which is insane. So, it all depends on how, if you're looking every day, I yielded for over a year on ink with PulseX, Hex farms, things like that. And I made thousands of inks. So it's like, there are also other opportunities within ecosystems that allow you to make money that don't involve the price of a token. So like, there's so much more nuance that goes into me talking about a token, because I'm really looking at the whole ecosystem.
I'm going to jump off of something that you said, Brendan, because it's kind of what I wanted to touch on. And it's that there's no such thing as a bad price. There's a low price and there's a high price, but it's when the prices are low, you can buy more. When the prices are high, you can sell more. Now, if you do the opposite of those two things, right, it's a tool. You want to use a screwdriver when it's time to screw the screw into the hole. You don't want to use a screwdriver when it's time to do some hammering. You know, when the price is low, it gives you the opportunity to stack your bags. When the prices are high, it gives you the opportunity to sell. Now, if you don't care about the coin or if you don't care about where it's going, then like it doesn't matter if the price is good or bad. If you don't want the asset, you don't want the asset. If the price is high, then you can sell. If the price is low, then you can buy. So it's just a matter of like, what are you doing? And is the thing that you want to do happening in the time? Like, let's say the price is really high and you want to buy. It's like, well, you missed your opportunity. You know, you can buy when it's high. You probably shouldn't. You will likely get less excellent results if you buy while it's high. But I don't want to put like subjective moralities to a thing that is like objectively usable. So like the same thing, I wouldn't say that sugar is bad because it's used to make delicious cakes. Now, sugar will not help you lose weight. Sugar will assist you in the gaining weight process, so you have to avoid it. Sugar is not evil, sugar is not bad, but if you eat too much of it, then things that you probably don't want might happen to you. So kind of like what Jonathan and I were talking about earlier is like there's things in the world that have effects. And if you use things outside of their effects, then you're probably not going to be able to have as effectively high a leverage ability to get some sort of outcome that you desire. So that's what I've got on that on that question, Mr. Laberdash. So there we
Yeah.
go.
When you buy high and things go much lower than you expect, it's hard. You know, it's always challenging when your bags look like they're down, even if you believe in a protocol. So I understand that also sometimes green candles are the only thing that's going to help your mental capacity. But I know a lot of people have had issues mentally, you know, with the way some of these ecosystems have either not responded or gone the opposite direction as anticipated. And I think we've talked to quite a few people off the ledge, at least in our Telegram, and a few of my friends personally. So, you know, you can always join our Telegram. We're here to help. We're here to talk, and it doesn't cost anything. So,
absolutely, that's a great time for me to plug the DGen Roundtable Telegram. By the way, for the folks at home who have never heard of the DGen Roundtable, this is your first time checking us out over here on YouTube. Then what you can do is you can click on that link that I just put in the live chats. It is t.me/DRT join now. Thank you, Mrs. Producer. Bring it up on the screen. You can also, if you've got another phone, you can scan that QR code that is on the screen right now. Or you can just type into your URL, t.me/DRT join now. Hop on into the DGen Roundtable Telegram. You can message any of us. We're all admins in there. And we all hang out and have fun and have good times. So I know that Mr. Laberdash, you were talking about wanting to set up your own podcast and looking for information and ways to do that. We would be happy to help you. Hop on into the DGen Roundtable Telegram by clicking on that link that is in the live stream chats, and then reach out to myself, to Nate, or to Brendan, or to any of the admins in there, and we'll be sure to get you squared away, good sir, and help you in your podcast journey. And that's what I've got to say about that, Mr. Jonathan. Do you have any thoughts on his latest question or his latest thoughts about prices being low or anything before we move on to the next topic?
Well, yeah. So you gotta remember that you have to be aware that you have to invest the things that you're willing to lose, right? Or you can afford to lose, because you know, I've met a couple people where their personality is literally tied to the trading, and then how they feel throughout the day is affected based on what the day's outcome is, or you know, whatever time frame that or whatever week you know, affected them. So you got to be aware of that, and also you have to remember that the price will change. It will go up and down, and you know, that's nothing that an individual like us can control. And also you know, I do like the idea of you know, when the price drops a little bit, you could buy a little bit more, and what that means is you can just, you know, for what the token's worth, your dollar has more buying power, and that's what that means. And also, like, you know, if you're me and you're a little degenerate, I like to buy and close my eyes. You know, that's a hobby of mine. And then one day I'll wake up, and then hopefully I'm rich.
Yeah. That's a good way to do it, broski. Getting the good assets at rock bottom prices is like, it is painful to do, because if we know something, or if we believe rather that something is worth more than what it's currently being sold for, and it's like super way down low, and the dumps in the portfolio that we've spent way more money on is worth way less than the number that we spent to get it. It's like, why the fuck am I throwing money in this thing that is like way lower than when I first got it? And it'll put a person through some crazy emotional swings to sit there and look at that. But it's like, if you want to get more of the thing that you believe in, well, you got a low price, like that's the best time to do it. And you know, you can only lose 100%, but you can gain thousands and
Also,
thousands.
it's like you don't lose until you sell. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Right. So when you lock in that sell, that's where you either lose or because you could also you could always keep your position, and you could also DCA into the position. Dollar cost average in. Throw in a $10, $100 here and there. If it goes down, your $100 can be a 2x, and that could break you even. When it goes up 50% or whatever from the drop. So keeping your position might allow you to break even if leaving a position is something you need to do.
Hell yeah, bro. Hell yeah. Bring that dollar cost average on down. Shout out to Miguel from Dollar Cost Crypto and Things. And Mrs. Producer, to answer your question, yes, I got it. So go ahead and do your thing. Brendan, what was it you were saying?
I was gonna say, but don't just get married to a coin because you don't want to lock in a loss. If you don't like the project anymore, if it doesn't make sense, and you want to move that money into something else, or you need to reduce your risk, that's okay. I mean, I think a lot of us here are long-term holders. Nothing that I have in the market I need to take out at any time. So if we miss this cycle, and I haven't missed a cycle because I also own Bitcoin. But if we miss a cycle on the coins that I hold a lot of, the altcoins, then I'll wait for the next cycle because I believe in it that much. If I didn't believe in it and I missed this cycle, then I'd roll it into something else, or I'd roll it back into blue chips or fiat and wait for the bear market. But everybody's plan is going to be different based on your risk tolerance, based on your age, based on a lot of different factors. And you have to make sure that you have a few different plans and adjust those plans as you continue to go forward. So,
kind of to speak on that a little bit. It is an interesting thought of like, hey, what if we miss a cycle and all this money I've been investing doesn't come to what I was hoping it would, right? Well, here's the thing, you can continue to build for years and years, right? And so, I mean, you're not where you're at right now, and perhaps the investments that you made, it's not specifically where you wanted it to be in the time period. However, eventually, if you continue to keep working, eventually those investments will pay off. And so that right there is going to be a good thing. It's just a matter of waiting. But then on top of it too, you can always build up your life. I've been, compared to this year, last year, and then the year before that, I'm averaging an extra 30,000 per year just by building, and just continuing my life, so to say, because investing is not your entire life. At least it shouldn't be. And one cycle in crypto shouldn't determine the future of your life too. So I do think that, even if you miss this cycle, right, you've got more cycles that can happen, and there is a future for you. You just have to continue building.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you could say that you need to ascend.
There you go. The ride never ends. It just keeps fucking going. We have one of the crazy things about a lot of the folks in the crypto sphere is it's like, we're all gambling to break free of the system. And it's like, let's presume that you break free of the system. It's like, okay, now what? Now what do you do? You've got a whole bunch of money and you can spend it. Okay, so you're spending it, but what are you doing with your time? Eventually the hedonism desire runs out, and it's like, okay, well, shit, I guess I have to go be valuable. Like the conclusion that I always see people running to is like, well, I guess I got to go be valuable some way, somehow. It's like, whether I'm chopping wood and selling it, whether I'm learning how to make delicious grilled cheeses, whether I'm putting on super cool events for people, throwing parties and going and meeting people, whether I start a logistics company. People have to find some sort of meaning and some sort of purpose to their life. And if you could do that in such a way that produces value for people, then congratulations, you've just found yourself a money printer that needed like just a little bit of what do you call it, like flashpoint energy to get it started and get us rolling down. So um I think I've asked you guys before on stream, like, what do you think? And this leads into my next question for this Whiskey Wednesday is like, what do you think that or actually, I've asked you this question personally before, and if you don't want to talk about it publicly, then we don't have to. But like, what is the thing that you would do with your time? What are some of the goals that you would have? How would you spend your resources if in this cryptocurrency cycle or two, you've got untold riches and you figured everything out. The way I usually do this is the 1,000 to 10,000 100,000 $1 million question things. But I just want to go ahead and jump straight to the chase. We'll cut out the foreplay, as it were. So like, what are some things that you would do? And Jonathan, I see you've come off mute. What is it that you want to do? What do you want to spend your riches on? How do you want to make the world better?
Well, so if money wasn't an issue anymore, I think I want to pick up, a couple odd jobs. I want to see what it's like to be human. You know what I mean? Like, no, because think about it, right? So if I could, be like a garbage guy for a day, I'd be like, yo, what are these guys up to? What's their day in the life, right? Because I want to see what it's like to, be in the day in the life, garbage man is something, right? But like also I could, train to be a baker if I wanted to. I would have the time to say, hey, I've traveled the world. I got to see what other people, how they live, right? Their perspective on life is, right? And also it's like, I get to see what I'm missing, right? What I could, or, things that I want to be working on, right? If I want to, work in ceramics or pottery, if I like art, maybe I could have the time to pick up an instrument, see how that is, right? I'll have more time to explore if money wasn't an issue.
Mm-hmm. So you want to learn new things and kind of figure out where you want your journey to go.
I got to use my big brain,
Yeah, excellent. Mr. Brendan, I see you've come off mute. What do you want to do with untold riches? How would you make the world a better place if money were no object?
Well, riches and money being no object are two different things. But for one person, money could be riches. That doesn't mean that riches for everybody is money. So I just want to make the verbiage more correct. If I had unlimited money, at first I'd have an opportunity to use my time. Every day of my life, I try to better myself so that if I have more time, I can make the world a better place. Because whenever we're better, we can make the people around us better. But if we're failing, if we're struggling, then we're also going to have a hard time making people around us better. Coming from a place of Christianity, religion is my most important thing in my life. I've always dreamed of running a nonprofit. So I think that if I had the opportunity to start a nonprofit, what that would be and what it would look like, we'll see. Certainly would be helping those less fortunate. That would be one thing. Obviously, I love traveling. So no matter what I would do, even if I don't strike rich, I think that having really great life experiences does make you richer as a human being. And those experiences can be traveling to a foreign country, or it can be traveling to a part of the state that you've never seen before. It doesn't necessarily take money to, expand your horizon. So I'm kind of playing both sides of this. One is that I realize money doesn't make me happy, but it does buy a boat. So,
yes,
there's that too.
I've never seen people very, very sad while they're on their boat, unless, of course, they're thinking about the preventative maintenance that they have to do on the boat. But that's very few and far between. Like, you don't see people crying while they're riding around jet skis.
We have seen a lot of people that have a lot of money be very sad, though. I mean, look at Hollywood. Yeah. Look at, sports stars. There's so many people that just don't love themselves, and therefore money isn't going to make them happy.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately. So, we always talk about working on yourself, whatever, if it's spiritually, if you believe in God or don't, mentally, physically, and then monetarily was something that we're all striving to break free from. I want to help. I I want to make the world a better place. So we'll see how that is and what that looks like. But I think 100% it's going to happen because I'm working hard towards it. And I don't have specifically a time frame that it has to be this cycle. I've always had a 10-year plan. When I started in crypto, 8 to 10 years, it was 2+ cycles. If the 4 years, cycles stuck, then it'll be 8 minimum, right? But probably more like 3 cycles to give you sort of generational wealth, assuming crypto continues up and to the right as it has for the past 12 years. But future is no, the past is no guarantee for the future. So I will change that plan as we go, but right now I am on path to do just that. And a lot of you are, because you're putting in the time and the effort.
Excellent.
Yes,
What about you? What about you, Nate?
So that's something. This is something that I've thought quite a bit about, and ultimately, like, number one is I would like to travel. I would like to learn, different cultures. I'd like to learn different viewpoints of people, kind of like this sir over here, right? And just kind of experience the world, because ultimately your experience in life should not be constantly working to gain something to then buy living stuff, right? Instead, you should be able to get yourself to a point where you have the money to be able to buy the stuff for a living, but then also buy experiences, because experiences is what makes life great to live. So that's something that I firstly would do. But also it would allow me to get off of working a job. And, I like working for the job I currently am. However, I am working for somebody. And I would prefer to get off of that schedule and instead be able to work for myself. And in working for myself, I'm not talking about becoming an entrepreneur. Yeah, maybe that's a part of it, right? But what I'm talking about more so is like all the things, all the like hobbies, like say music, right? Something like that. I can't do music at all right now because number one, I'm online over here, right, doing stuff. I've got my own channel, but then on top of it, I got the crypto, and then I've got my full-time job, and then also a family. All right, so I don't have enough time. So if I can reduce one of those, which the biggest one is my job, right? That's going to be anywhere from 8 to 12 hours a day, 5 days a week. Then if I can reduce that, I can transfer that time over to something else that I would really much prefer. And ultimately, it would be quite nice for the world too, because it's some kind of entertainment, right? It's entertainment for people to be able to consume. So it's definitely something there's a lot of different things that I would like to do. But yeah, ultimately that's what I would do. I would refocus my time into being more creative.
I think that there's something special with musicians. I would almost call musicians like a combination between like spellcasters and salesmen, because their whole thing is to make people feel a certain type of way. The way that music works, like the vibrations inside your brain, it makes you feel something. When you play a minor chord, it makes you feel sad. When you play a major chord, it makes you feel happy, because that's the way that our brain interprets vibrations. And so people combine these little vibration things in order to literally elicit feelings out of other people. So it's like, if you're making music that people like, then you're a good salesman. And not only that, but like now you're a spellcaster and you have the power to make other people feel good, feel excited, and enjoy something beautiful and creative. So I think that'd be an awesome
Yeah,
use case. What kind of music would you
circle
play?
and things. So for me, it would be more of experimentation where I would like to try a lot of different things. I am a metalhead, however, so if I ever got that ability, I would definitely go down the metal direction for sure. It's what I know best, and it's what I enjoy the most. However, there's certain elements of rap, and this isn't like the normal rap that you would think about. It's more kind of like a hardcore rap, but things like that I actually really enjoy too. But then there's other times I'm over here with all the dubstep poppy stuff. I'm like, hell yeah, let's go with that crap, right?
Mhm.
So there's a wide variety of things, and ultimately this is one of my loves of life that I have not been able to cultivate nor explore. So it would again, having the amount of time to be able to do a thing, well, I'd be able to explore and see what I would really truly love making rather than just consuming.
Yes, and like I think that's kind of like that's kind of where I'm driving with this question, is like, what is the thing that you want to make? What, like, instead of consuming, how do you want to make the world better? It's like, does your purpose make your life better, you know, like vacationing or eating delicious steaks or something, or does it make like the entire world better, like doing something nice for those around you, like what Brendan was talking about with the ministry and stuff. um so like that's what I think, that's where folks really get satisfaction, is in,
Mhm.
you know, making like you can have a pretty good feeling by making yourself feel good, but if you can make 10 people feel good, then like, whoo boy, that's powerful. So it's like, I don't know the exact math, but I think that it probably equals out to being 10 times as strong as making yourself feel good. So that's just my 2 thoughts. And Brendan, you brought up an excellent point. I want to ask the folks in the chats this as well. What's the thing that you guys would do at home? And feel free to type this in, or as a matter of fact, I will go ahead and kick out the link for folks if you want to hop on with us and do this fantastic Whiskey Wednesday. I'm going to go ahead and drop the link in the chats right now. So you guys just click on that little StreamYard link right there. I'm bringing it up on the screen, and it is in the chats. If y'all want to hop in here and tell us about what you would do with your fantastic wealth, and tell us what's going on, then I think that would be super cool and awesome. So, like, tell us what you would do with your wealth. How would you make the world a better place, or how would you make your own life better if you had enough monetary wealth that you didn't have to worry about it and you could chase and pursue these sorts of dreams. So that would be freaking cool. Good suggestion there, Mr. Brendan. I suppose while we wait for the answers to roll in from the chats or any other things, I'll go ahead and answer my own question. And the thing that I've noticed that I like to do is I like to empower people. That's something that makes me feel good. Is I like to give other people the opportunity to improve and become powerful. So I'm rather fond of educating. It used to be that I wanted to, like, when I was a kid, I wanted to just sell everybody guns. That's what I wanted. I wanted to be Nicolas Cage from Lord of War, and I wanted to go around and sell people guns, and I never really knew why. Like, I wanted to sell people guns, and like give people guns. I mean, obviously, you know, I love guns, I love shooting, I love all of that stuff. But then, like, as I got older, I started to think and reflect on, like, what does it mean to have a gun? It basically is like, on a personal level, you become unfuckwithable, which stops other people from imposing their will on you, right? And then I started thinking recently about, like, okay, well, like, guns aren't the only way that you can stop people from imposing what they want to do on you. So, like, and I've said this a few times on the show, but I'll go ahead and say it again for the folks that haven't heard it before. Is I think that there's four main realms in life that enable you to become like a sovereign individual and really um take care of yourself and those around you. And so, like, we'll start off with security, right? So security or self-defense, or the ability to enact violence on those that would enact violence on you, right? That's the gun thing. That's like self-defense. That's like being able to, you know, box or throw knives or shoot things, whatever you want to call it. Like the ability to enact violence when violence is being enacted on you, right? So self-defense, bearing arms, things like that. Another one is the ability to, like, transact, the ability to exchange your value that you create in the world with other people's value that they create in the world. Like, if you have a whole bunch of cash here in the States, then there's some places that you can't transact in. So, like, your ability to transact is hampered there. If you can't trade the value that you make with the value that other people make, then, like, you're not going to be able to experience everything in the world. So we've got self-defense, we've got transaction, and that also includes, like, your ability to work. So not just like to spend things, but to also create value. Like, let's say that the job that you want to do is illegal, or the job that you want to do isn't allowed, you know, then that also kind of goes in there. So, like, there's some like lower tier things to these list of four. So security, transaction, movement is another one. So, like, having wheels, having wings, not being like cordoned off inside your own home because everybody in the world has a sniffle, or, like, you know, roadblocks being set up, or you have to present your papers to some 1940s guards if you want to, like, move to different parts of Germany. You know, like, freedom to travel is very important. Like, if you can't fly because you don't have a magical star on your ID, you know, like, it's there's some interesting things down this whole little rabbit hole. But the ability to move around and, like, change your location if you don't like the spot that you're in, like, that's also very important. And then the final one is communication. So, like, your ability to express yourself and to be heard. there's a lot of people that are canceled, quote unquote, in the old legacy media, and like in what Twitter used to be before it got bought out by Elon Musk, that they couldn't say everything that they wanted to, or that they would get like shut down by the man for spreading, bad information or something like that. Or like, let's say you're shut off in your house, or someone or some phone service provider disconnects your phone for you, or like you're streaming something and then all of a sudden the stream cuts out. There's a lot of different levels to communication. And the important thing is to be able to get your thoughts out and get your words out and get your information out to others, and to be able to have that good back and forth in that sharing. So those are the 4 things that I would like aim to teach people about in life. That's the sort of thing that that I would do if I had, an exuberant amount of wealth. And the thing that I'm really good at is teaching people how to shoot. So it's like it falls into the self-defense thing. I'm not the best driver in the world. I just like drive slow on the interstates behind semis and just kind of chill out and relax. I'm not the best like speaker. I'm not the best I'm not the best oh shoot, what was the other one? I'm not the best money spender. If you guys copy my trades, then you're in for a real fucking treat and some crazy big losses. But like I think that I would probably teach people how to shoot or run ranges or do other fun things that are self-defense related, and that's probably the realm that I would go into, and probably surround myself with other people that taught the other things. And so everybody can be strong, sovereign individuals, and you just like be surrounded by competent people at all times. So that's what I would do in a very extended way to answer my own question. So, Mr. Brendan, I see you've come off mute. Have you a thought, good sir?
I mean, just coming off mute so we can talk, my friend.
Yeah, bro. What's up?
There's one thing that people do need to be careful of, and that is, and you can research this, it's scientific, talking about getting to a place that you desire to be actually releases the same endorphins as actually getting there. So you do have to be a little bit careful about spending too much time looking at, hey, this is what I'm going to do with my money when I get rich. This is what I'm going to do, because it actually lulls you into a false sense of security, because your body's already feeding off the endorphins that is supposed to be driving you towards the future, towards that actual win. So you do have to realize that. And I read a book about it once, I forget the name of the book. But it's very interesting that you release the same endorphins by thinking about winning a game, so to speak, than you do about actually winning the game. And the same in crypto investing. If you think that you're going to invest and be rich, and you're going to, think about that all the time, then you're you're going to skip that middle part, because your body is always already eating those endorphins that it was, searching for. Granted, there's some differences there, but just I'm just giving you a general lay of the land. Like that's just like one thing you need to be a little bit careful of when having these examinations. You got to put yourself back into reality.
Yeah, it's the hopium, right? Oh, sweet, sweet hopium. We love it so much. However, I don't know if you guys do this as well, but for myself, I'll think about where it is I want to end up, right? And I'll think about the ways that, or successes that I can have and able to achieve getting to that point. Because for me, it's always like a step by step. Like you need step 1, step 2, step 3, and able to actually reach that point. So with the endorphins of like, I really want to be here, right? Hitting me like that. For me, it's like, okay, well, now back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. And I got to start thinking about, okay, how do I get to that place now? So it's actually, it kind of wakens me up a bit.
Yeah, one of the things like I have as a problem is like if I obtain something too early or too fast, and I didn't work for it, or I didn't work as hard for it. One of the fundamental problems is like I don't know how to hold on to it. I don't appreciate it as much. So I'll give you an example. So when I was in high school, there's a video game called League of Legends. I'm sure you guys have heard of it. I was particularly very good at it, right? I wanted to hit the rank of Diamond. If you didn't know what the rank of Diamond is, it's 1% of 1% of players.
Man, I want to make an Asian joke so bad right now. You are not.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Let me hear it. Let me hear it.
You and me both,
I'm
man.
just
You and me
erasing.
both. The second you're like, I was really good at it. Oh, of course.
No, no,
Anyways,
no.
not to cut you off, bro. You were wanting to become diamond level, right? And so you were working hard as
Yeah.
you know, an Asian would, you know. Oh my god. All right,
But
I'm done.
yeah.
Go ahead.
So when I turned 16, you know, I obtained the rank of diamond, and then you know, I went and told all my friends, and then, like, you know, everyone was, you know, a little bit envious. They were like, "Oh my god, can you like boost my account?" Right? And you know, I boosted their accounts, right? Not gonna lie. But then you know, obtaining that, I kind of lost the joy of playing the game. Like, I wasn't playing the game anymore. I was playing only to win. Like, that was my dopamine. That was like the thing that driven me to play. The only thing that I was chasing was winning, right? And then, you know, this brings back to trading. When I talked about earlier, is like that kind of affected my mood. Like, if I went on a loss streak, I was just bitter, right? But then if I was on a win streak, I was full of euphoria. I was happy. I was telling everyone, "Yo, hey guys, I'm having a good day today," you know? And that's the only thing that kind of defined me for, like, you know, the last 2 years of my high school. I was, you know, junior and senior year. I spent my days playing. You know, I could have been going out. I could have been doing something, right? But then the only thing that consumed me was trying to get that level of you know, something that I perceived as prestigious, which it ended up not being, right? It may be for that, you know, that certain amount of time, that euphoria, you know, you have it for that second, and then you realize, you know, it wasn't really worth it, you know?
Yeah. Think about how cool those skins are, and then how quickly they become valueless the longer the game exists. You know. I think of the same thing when it comes to, like, Sea of Thieves, or, like, I know that Call of Duty, there's some super rare, like, oh, that guy has a super rare skin, you know, don't fuck with him, you know, blah de da. Like, is it the same? Is it the same sort of thing that you're describing?
I wouldn't say it's that. It's like, so there's diminishing returns in as you play the game, right? So for example, right, you know, being at you know, being a top player, you know, you can tell people you are very good at the game, right? It's almost as if it is a bragging right, which it is, right? And you know, that being you know, there's a level of prestige where, you know, if it persists so long, there's no value to it anymore, right? Because, you know, your friends, you know, that you play with, all of a sudden they don't play the game anymore, and then you're stuck playing the same game, and then you know, you're at the top level, but, you know, no one cares, right? Or no one around you, you know, has value to it anymore. So there are diminishing returns of it.
There are. And one of the things, what happened, what's going on with you with League of Legends there is exactly what happened to me with Overwatch, right? So from 2016 to 2020, I was a big Overwatch player. And again, you know, just like you, I was in that top 1% of people, played very well. And you're right. You get those terrible days, so that just ruins your entire day, going on a losing streak of some kind, right? And you get an extreme frustration. But the big thing that, you know, a game like Overwatch ended up doing was all the prestigious, you know, medals that I got, you know, basically went away because they went to Overwatch 2 and deleted all the stats of Overwatch 1. And all of a sudden I can no longer say that I was a top 500, you know. I can't, it's like I could say it, but people ain't going to believe it, you know. And it's like you guys literally just took all of that away, just kind of like poof, right? You know. And so you're correct, Jonathan. It's very fleeting, you know. It's like it's nice to be there for a while, but then, you know, diminishing gains, as you say, you know, your friends move on to like different games, and you are kind of stuck just playing something else. Everything just kind of disappears, and then as soon as there's like no more memory of it online, it's like, why did I waste my life literally doing this?
I will add one more thing. It sounds to me like, it seems like it's happiness at the time, but it's not true happiness, right?
Yeah.
It's not something that's going to give you lasting happiness or lasting, or bring lasting value to your life. You know, it doesn't mean that doing any of those things are bad at all. It's just, you know, putting things into perspective, I think, is what you guys are trying to say is important.
Yeah, and Man, I wanted to I want to go back to what you were talking about earlier, Brendan, about the being careful about people getting the same endorphin reaction from talking about the cool things and avoiding that. And I think that there's a flip side to that coin that people can use, that that talking about things um concept to eliminate stresses as well. So like, not only does it eliminate the positive incentive, but it also removes a negative, it also has the potential to remove like a negative inspiration or a negative chemical in the brain. So like, think of like, you know, anytime you've had a problem with someone and you wrote them a really long angry text and you didn't send it, but it's like, or like you spent a long time composing an email or writing like an angry letter and like never sent it off or something, like you have the opportunity to get all that emotion and all that pent up frustration out on paper, and then you just kind of like sit on it for a while. It's like, oh, I feel better even without having like sent the thing. That's another therapy that people can use on the flip side of that coin. You know, talking about all the awesome things removes the incentive that gets you to do them, but on the same side, like talking about the negative things can remove the power of whatever drain that they're having on your life. So something to something for the folks at home to think about. And that was something that I wanted to touch on there. And Nate, to your point about Overwatch, like deleting all your stats, like bro, I feel you. I feel you with that. So crazy, man. I don't want to dwell on this topic for too long. We'll get back to crypto here in just one moment, but I will say before we leave that World of Tanks did something very similar to that, where like I max leveled out one of my tank commanders just by like playing the same tank over and over and over again thousands of times. And then one day they just redid the way that all the tank commanders like were leveled up with experience, and they wiped all of my stats and they wiped all of like the skills that I had earned through thousands and thousands of battles. And they're like, hey guys, we've got new skills and new battles, and this time you can only pick 9. And I had 17 at the time beforehand, and it was like, what have you done? You've crippled me. Like, I understand they need to bring in new players, and if people, old OGs like me, are just fucking clubbing baby seals and removing the ability for new money to get into the game, then it's like, what a pity. But like, I totally feel you, bro, with them wiping all the stats and everything. I want to say that's actually why Vitalik got into cryptocurrency to begin with. Is like, he built Ethereum because Bitcoin wasn't working for what it was supposed to. It was supposed to be like, fast peer-to-peer transfer cash stuff. And also because he didn't want, like, he got into blockchain specifically because World of Warcraft wiped his account, or they did something like that and they removed his ability to play video games. So like, that's where like crypto is. It's amazing what will get people down the roads to like build things. And now, we sit all here, happy members of the Pulse Chain family and the Hex family and the Ethereum family and everything like that. And it's like, we're standing on the shoulders of giants that basically got pissed off because like they got their video game stats wiped. So like, there's roses that rise from the ashes, to quote Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, for those of you out there that are old enough to know that movie. So let's talk a little bit about cryptocurrency and some of the things that are going on in the recent past. There's a couple things that I've noticed that was interesting, that happened recently. There was, I don't know if you guys remember the Libra token that was Javier Milei in Argentina, and they had like the government launched Libra token, but Circle has frozen like about $60 million worth of USDC that was that was associated with those wallets and the Libra token. So that's pretty interesting. And there was an article that I'd seen right above that where BlackRock was saying that they want to own 10% of Circle here in the near future. So it's like,
Of course.
whether Libra is legit or illegitimate, like USDC, like $60 million of their USDC is no longer accessible because we live in a world where a lot of the stable coins that already exist, USDC, Tether, some of the other ones, not die for now, anyways, fortunately. They have the ability to just freeze assets and stop wallets from being able to make transfers and things. But like, that was something that happened interesting, or that was something interesting that happened recently. There was also, Trump finally had his little meeting for everybody that owned the Trump token, or whatever the hell it was. There was, I think you had to have like $2 million worth of the token in order to go to this fancy schmancy dinner, and they served like some steak and chicken and mashed potatoes and carrots and things. Shout out to Tom Gillespie, the one of the guys who made a separate Hex documentary. He does some really good videos and interviews and things, but he was sharing pictures of like all the people like, and he was like, oh, look at this. They got some vegetables out of a can, and they pulled like a steak and slapped a little bit of tiny gravy on it and said, here's your $2 million dinner. Go say hi to Trump and go have fun. So like some mixed reviews and things on that. What's some stuff that you guys have seen in the cryptocurrency space recently?
I would just like to slightly correct you on one thing.
Okay, go ahead.
Javier did not launch the coin, nor did the government.
Correct.
He tweeted about it on an official account.
That's
and
right.
Then it got rugged after it went way up. It like total huge rug scam. And yeah, that's like, especially when you're in power, you got to be careful about what you say and who you put your word behind, because your words are even more important then.
That's a good point. Yeah, I stand corrected. They did not. The government did not launch it. Libra was launched by someone else, but the government figures did promote it, or there was accounts on Twitter that promoted it that happened to belong to government officials. Whether they were hacked or whether they were, given, hey, here's $10 million. Let me get your login and password for 20 minutes or whatever the hell. Like that definitely did happen. So
yeah,
there's some investigations going on and whatnot.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much. It seems like it's mostly brushed under the rug at this point, at least from a impeachment standpoint or anything like that. But one of the things that I really liked, which happened earlier today, officially, I believe, was that GameStop purchased Bitcoin. They purchased 4,700 Bitcoin, 47 and change, which was about 500 million. And, the interesting thing about GameStop is, they were about to go under, and then the whole short squeeze happened, and they were able to sell their stock for billions, and they still have of liquid cash, 5.5 billion. So they only spent 500 million of their liquid cash on Bitcoin, which means you got to pump those numbers up if you're listening over here. But I thought that was cool. And one thing I want to ask in relation to that is, we're starting to see a lot of entities purchase Bitcoin. We're seeing a lot of entities increase their strategic reserves. We're seeing them continue to buy. Michael Saylor, everybody knows that. Governments, there's a lot of interest in Bitcoin. Nobody seems to want to sell, at least no institutions, no governments, no big companies. They're just continuing to accumulate, even at these numbers. So I have two questions. First of all, do we continue to see more companies, countries, and entities, financial institutions, continue to add Bitcoin to their balance sheet in large amounts? And two, do we start to see an increase in Ethereum strategic reserves at any point moving forward?
We did cover the ETH strategic reserve earlier on Sunday. Shout out to Mr. Brendan for bringing that up. I think, for one, that we're going to see more and more large entities buying Bitcoin and buying Ethereum. I would prefer they buy Ethereum just because I'm selfish, and that kind of pumps my bags. But like, I do believe that we're going to see a lot of it. I know just from scrolling the crypto news Telegram thing that I look at, it's just like about somewhere between 10% to like 30% of the posts in there are about big entities buying more Bitcoin. So it's like, oh, look at that, more people buying Bitcoin. Now, of course, it's cherry-picked data. It doesn't tell me how many people are buying S&P 500. It doesn't tell me how many people are buying tea in China, But like, I think that the more large entities we see buying Bitcoin, the more adoption that we see, the better off we will be as a whole. And I'm about it. And the odds are they're probably not going to be selling it at the same rates as retail, but that's a little bit of inference and speculation. What about you, Mr. Nate or Mr. Jonathan? What do you guys think?
Well, I think that companies have to be buying, right? Think about it this way. They're buying Bitcoin right now because Bitcoin is the safe one, okay? But, when you're out buying gold and you need fuel for your truck to bring the gold back to your country, what do you go out and buy? Oil. right? And that's what's currently happening. So far, what we're looking at is governments around the world and even institutions are basically hedging all of the investments in cryptocurrencies with what would be the safest one, the flight to value, right? Or flight to safety, which is the value holder, aka Bitcoin. So what are they going to do next? They're like, okay, we got enough Bitcoin, we're good with that. What's the next one we go do? Well, now we're going to go buy something, right? We're going to go do something with it. What can we do? Well, you can't really do anything on Bitcoin at all. All right, that's basically useless. So what you have to do is you have to go buy up whatever it is that people are actually building on. What are people building on? Ethereum. Ethereum is the building platform. That's where everybody goes to build. And so we're going to be seeing a lot of institutions and even governments probably buying up a lot of Ethereum. I've been saying this for a long time that we're just waiting on Ethereum at this point, and we're waiting for good regulatory environment, good regulatory environment, but then also we're looking for kind of a more stable market environment in general, because fortunately, we have Trump in the White House and he's going wild with the tariffs. And so everyone's like, okay, well, what are we looking at here? We don't know where the stability is because he's pretty volatile about what it is he's doing. So as soon as that settles down, and then all that tariff money starts coming in and all the producers have come back to America, got their factories set up, and then they start producing a lot more, there's going to be a ton more money. Oh, plus the money printing as well. That's going to happen. There's going to be an extreme wave of liquidity that's going to be coming into the markets. And obviously, the United States of America is going to be leading the way. And I believe that this is going to go straight into Ethereum. And then eventually they're going to be like, oh, cool, Ethereum worked out just great, and we didn't have to be scared of it. Now where are we going to go? And they'll probably head off into things like XRP and Solana, even probably Dogecoin. Like I could see that happening. They've already been talking about making an ETF for Dogecoin, which that was funny because I saw an article that was like, oh, we want to make an ETF for Solana, but then it was like also XRP and Dogecoin, and I was like, oh, that's so weird that Doge got in there. But yeah,
bro, there's so many ETFs getting put into getting submitted up to the SEC.
Yeah.
But also keep in mind, we're going to start seeing more index funds too, which means multiple different cryptocurrencies going into one fund, right? What does that do? Kind of reduce risks by spreading it out. What if when you had FTX or Luna, and that was one of 10 coins you had, and those died, but the other 9 or 8 didn't? At least most of your money was still safe. So index funds give people a little form of safety, at least in their minds. But Jonathan, I want to hear from you, buddy.
Well, I was thinking, I wonder if there is a number where a country says this is too expensive, because as the price of Bitcoin rises, these smaller countries, or just any financial advisor in general would just be like, hey, I don't think this is a good idea, right? And so they might be looking for the next big asset, which it could be Ethereum, right? So let's say Bitcoin reaches, I don't know, $160,000, right? And to obtain one Bitcoin, that might be too much, right, to accumulate in like big bulks. So I was thinking, like, if someone says, hey, this is too expensive, what is the next big thing? It might be Ethereum, it might be another project, it might be another cryptocurrency. I wonder if that's what we need to pump the bags, right? If Bitcoin reaches a certain price, and then some financial advisor in some big country says, we can't do it, it's too much, right? I really wonder if that there's a thought like that out there, because for us, we assume Bitcoin, it's going up and to the right, but to a conservative trader, they might not see it that way. So I really do wonder if there is a certain number that someone might be thinking of.
I guess it depends on their time horizon too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are they looking at 3-year hold, or are they looking at 30-year hold?
But also, like, not all financial advisors understand cryptocurrency in terms of the 4-year cycle, right? They might be aware that it does exist, or it, you know, could exist, right? Because, you know, who's to say next cycle it might not be the case anymore, right? Or, you know, the next few cycles, the 4-year cycle might be broken, right? It's been working so far as of now. However, who's to say in the future that, you know, that truth at the moment continues to be the truth?
You know, I actually have a, it's funny. It's a good point, Jonathan. I'm looking at, I just got a new job recently, and I don't get a 401k anytime in the near future, nor do I really care. I don't probably won't put any more money into a 401k, but I have 2 previous 401ks from my previous job and the one before that. So I was talking to a company and talking about rolling those over into an IRA, so that I can be, you know, have a much wider variety of things that I can invest in. And he says, you know, why did you choose your investments? He said, you have a very interesting range of investments. You didn't just choose one fund and put it into your 401k. I said, well, because I actually, with most of my money, I invest myself. I said, I'm mostly in digital assets, but I come from a traditional finance background. He said, okay, that makes sense. He's like, and I was kind of talking to him about what's available in the IRA from digital asset standpoint, and he didn't really know. And he's like, "Yeah, digital asset." He's like, "Yeah, crypto's done really well the last like few months, so you must be happy." But man, it's so volatile, and it's just a young kid. I mean, I could tell he's like 20, 25 probably at most. And I'm like, "Yeah, you know, it's really volatile if you're looking at it at the short term in the 6 months to a year." I said, but if you look at crypto over the last 4, 8, or 12 years, it's the least volatile asset. You know, it's actually the safest place that you put your money in. He's like, yeah, it is all about your time horizon. And it's like, I can tell that he certainly doesn't think highly of crypto. But it also made me a little sad because I wanted to sit there for 20 minutes and talk to him about his life choices, but I didn't have time.
That's funny. Yeah. So, Jonathan, to your question, it's a very fascinating one, and I really like it because it gets you thinking. You know, is there a number too high? Right. Well, here's what I would think as a company, especially an investing company like, say, a BlackRock. I don't think necessarily, or yeah, I think there would be a number that's too high. But I think it would be a very high number. One that's, too high for us, like way, way too high for us, is just fine for them, right? So I think for companies that are for profit, I do believe that a number too high would eventually arise. However, because of the store of value of Bitcoin, right? I think that governments see the cryptocurrency space as usefulness, not necessarily price. So my theory is that they would use, say, like, the wallet of America, which would be BlackRock, dumps off a whole bunch of prices, right? So that way the United States Reserve can buy it cheaper, aka get more of the coins, something like that, possibly, right? I think that just governments themselves do not have a price too high. It's only about accumulating more of the coins. And then what I also do believe that something like Ethereum is a very long-term bet, and next cycle is going to be basically Ethereum cycle, I would say. Number one, because no longer a 3-year or a third cycle curse, right? But also, people have kind of gotten over, or I should say governments and institutions have gotten over being scared of crypto and have been buying up Bitcoin as a store of value. And so now that they've gotten into the store of value of Bitcoin, which this is the 4th cycle for Bitcoin, aka people have gotten used to it now, and they're not like, oh, poo-poo this, aka 3rd cycle. I think the next step is to start tokenizing things. And they would tokenize by building on something. Well, what are you going to build on? You're going to build on, obviously, the most trusted and the best running L1 that there is, which is going to be Ethereum. You'll probably get a whole bunch that are on Avalanche, a whole bunch of like other protocols that are going to go out on Solana and all that. But I think for like governments and very large institutions with shit tons of money, that's going to go straight into Ethereum to start building. So that's what my thought process is. Also, go there for you. But with that being said, we did have.
Hold on. Sorry, I was muted. I was going to say the other thing is traditional finance companies in these in large entities like to spread their money around, right? They like to diversify. So at some point, they need to diversify in the strategic, in the digital asset area with more than just Bitcoin. So if they really start believing in it, they need to diversify. Where are you going to diversify to first? Probably Ethereum. So I think there's multiple ways that we're going to start seeing inflows to Ethereum. And I think it's a great question, Jonathan, because I think that will happen. I think it'll be different for every type of entity.
To your,
well, go ahead.
Go ahead, Jonathan.
Okay, so going to one of your points, Brendan, is going to that kid, your financial advisor or whoever that guy was.
Random person that I spoke to on the phone at a bank.
I see. Well, there's a thing, right? So I think there's a thing about a certain level of education or a type of education that a person receives, right? Because the perception right now of crypto is it is volatile, right? And that's just for the general populace, right? You talk to someone like, hey, what do you think about cryptocurrency? They're like, oh, I don't like it because it's volatile, right? I think there's a fundamental miscommunication in terms of understanding what cryptocurrency is, right? And also the perspective of cryptocurrency, because a lot of people, it's an echo chamber, right? People have been told, this is a volatile asset, or they see it themselves, right? They see, BTC in 2 months ago, 70,000, right? And now it's back to 109 when, 5 months ago as well, it was, 107, right? So them seeing those numbers, right? Because the number is so big, right? In relative terms, they assume volatility, right? And, from that perspective, it may be volatile, but you got to think of what the number is, right? Because if you think about it, if you just cut the zeros, if we literally just cut the zeros, it's from 7 to 10, that's just 3 points, right? But also, $30,000 is a lot of money, right? So, the perspective has to be, taught or, has to be assumed differently, because, a lot of traditional education, they say, okay, this is how we do business. This is how we see economics. This is how we've observed economics thus far. So this should be the case for the education system. But the education system doesn't teach, new horizons, new ways to think, right? New ways to enter a market, new perspectives of a market, right? And so that's what cryptocurrency is, in my opinion.
They also always paint volatility with a negative paintbrush. Volatility isn't always negative, but they always perceive it as negative because of the education that they're having. And that's the unique thing. It's like you kind of have to rewire your brain a little bit to realize, okay, volatility isn't necessarily a bad thing. It is like, okay, what is this volatility, and can I use it to my advantage? And is there something I'm missing? I think a lot of people are missing it. Like you're saying, it's like they're thinking about it in the wrong way.
I wanted to address something that you guys were saying earlier, and I don't remember who had said it, but I wanted to quote the great Michael Saylor when he said, "I only invest money that I cannot afford to lose." And
I said that on Sunday.
Yeah, in reference to buying the Bitcoin, and it's just like, when you guys are talking about companies having a price too high for Bitcoin, and Michael Saylor's like literally buying the top, and he's like, yeah, I only buy Bitcoin with money that I can't afford to lose. And it's like, bro, that means you're keeping your degen money in cash, and like the Bitcoin's like where everything else goes, which I respect. Like I do a very similar thing with when I buy like the assets that I buy in the cryptocurrency space. It's like I don't see my long-term wealth being in cash. I keep money in cash that I'm going to spend in the next 6 months, or that I'm going to spend in the next 3 months to live. It's like everything else gets turned into cryptocurrency and fucking stashed away. Either it's Hex and it's staked out for however long I decide to stake it, wherever the missing hole is in my staking ladder, or this, that, or the other thing. And then Nate, to your point about the governments and them buying the cryptocurrency, I don't think they have a price too high because the governments print the money. So they don't care about the price because they'll just make more fucking money. And then bazinga, they just buy the special asset, then they have more asset with this Fugazi money that they made out of fucking nowhere. And it's like, they're just over there stacking sats in their little government wallet. Unless you're a country like El Salvador, which uses the United States' money as their currency. So, like, shout out to everybody out there. And actually, on the subject of shout outs and all the countries out there doing great things, let's take a moment to transition right on over into chat motherfucking shout outs. It's been a while since we've done some chat shout outs, and shout out you guys there at home who've been hanging out. It's time for us to go into that. So, damn, this was almost an hour ago. We were joined by Mr. M. Rock Jockey. Mr. M. Rock Jockey says, "Gentlemen, good evening. Good evening to you too, sir." Mr. M. Rock Jockey, glad that we could have you with us tonight. By the way, folks in the comments, folks in the chats, if y'all want to reply with what you happen to be drinking tonight, I'm drinking a Shiner Bock. Oh shoot, I had just said it. Prickly Pear. I'm drinking a Shiner Bock Prickly Pear. Brendan, are you drinking on something tonight?
I finished this. I brought up a High Noon, and I got a Lime Truly going right now.
Those are good, man. Those
Low
are good.
key.
I had some Death Row drinks earlier, very similar to those, the sparkly vodka water drinks. Those things are fun. But yeah, shout out to Truly and High Noon.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there. I had a fair amount of drinks over the holiday weekend, so it's like a little chill for the next few days.
Same thing, bro. I was very dehydrated, but very highly fueled up on alcohol. So good evening to you, Mr. M. Rock Jockey, and good evening to all of you who are joining us tonight. Don't forget to shout out what you're drinking down there in the chats. I was trying the new show comments on stage thing that happens, as you guys can see down on the bottom right. It covers up our DRT join now QR code, which I'm not terribly fond of. But I'll go ahead and put the banner back on. There we go. We'll put on the longer banner for to make Mrs. Producer happy. But yeah, the little comments, they block off our QR code, so maybe we can make a new set of backgrounds or something or maybe I can find a way to move the comments on stage. But anyways, I thought that was a pretty cool little experiment. So shout out to you, Mr. M. Rock Jockey. Next up in the chat shadows, we've been joined by Mr. Fox Mulder, and Fox Mulder says he makes a lot of sense for someone named Bean, and I agree. Mr. Brendan does indeed make quite a bit of sense. I forgot what we were talking about back then, about an hour ago.
I think we were talking about what I would do if I had the money, and then maybe it was after that when I was talking about don't rest on your laurels by talking about being wealthy or talking about being successful. Actually put in the work and be successful.
Absolutely. And you're absolutely right. And you do make a lot of sense for someone named Bean. So shout out to you, Mr. Fox Mulder. Thank you for joining us tonight.
By the way, I was called Bean before Mr. Bean came out, so I'm the original.
Brendan is the original Rowan Atkinson, Mr. Bean. You heard it here first on the DGen Roundtable. Shout out to Rowan Atkinson. He did
by the way.
Man, quick little tangent. That man is all about free speech, and he did a very good job opposing the UK's
one of the few
horrible like banning of jokes and censoring of people online and people going to jail for posting memes and stuff. Rowan Atkinson did a fantastic job. So shout out to Rowan Atkinson, the man who voiced Zazu on the Lion King, and also was Mr. Bean. And
I'll also say
English.
I was gonna say Johnny English is one of my most underrated Mr. Bean movies. I love
Johnny English is so good.
The Blackadder series is my favorite Rowan Atkinson. And then shortly thereafter by the Cannonball, the character that he played, I think Emilio something in the Cannonball series, or no, it was Rat Race, not Cannonball. Rat Race. Yeah. Shout out to Rowan Atkinson, a fantastic British actor and comedian. Super cool, funny guy. And speaking of shout out to Mr. Funkmaster Hex, who says, "Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Good evening to you too, Mr. Funkmaster Hex, the Trailer Park Boys Julian of the Hexaco and Pulse Chain space, always raising a glass at the end of every sentence in every single chat that I've ever seen him in. So good to see you, sir. I hope that when we finally meet you in real life, you also have you're always carrying around a little drink ready to go. So
he might have to change his name to Funkmaster Hex with a drink after it. Like,
ooh,
or no, he might just have to get on that.
There you go. There you go. That's fucking brilliant. I like. Good to see you, Funk Master. Welcome, welcome. Hopefully, you're not working another 14-hour shift today. That would be no bueno. But things that are bueno is we've got Mr. Clintrons up here. Mr. Clintron says, "G'day, D-Gens." I'm pretty sure that's how you would say it in Australia.
G'day, mate.
G'day, mate. And I would say, "Anya, mate," or whatever the appropriate response is. I think Anya or G'day or cheers or something. I know they say all those Britishy
I think it's
type
cheers.
terms down there. In
They have
Australia.
some unique things as well, though. I don't know Australia as much as New Zealand, though.
Yes. Good day to you too, Mr. Clintrons. I can't remember if you're in Australia or New Zealand, but I would presume he is an Aussie. So welcome to the stream, broski. Glad that we could have you with us today. We're also joined by Miss Lunacy Point. Miss Lunacy Point says, "Hey gang, with the little heart." Hello to you too, Miss Lunacy Point. Glad that we could have you with us as well. Always wonderful to see a friendly face in the chats. We're also joined by Mr. Paul Sachs, a good real life friend of mine. Living through the 2008 was a blessing financial lesson for us. I agree. I wish that I was old enough to understand what was going on, but like looking back, it's like, wow, that was some crazy stuff. I think I was a sophomore in high school at the time, or maybe a freshman. I don't recall. I graduated in 11, so there you go. But a financial blessing or a blessing financial lesson for us all. There was a lot of things that happened as a result of the 2008 crashes and the bailing out of the bankers. I want to say Iceland did it best because they put all the bankers in jail that did all the bad things. So shout out to Iceland for all of our Icelandic Reykjavik watchers out there. I hope you're all doing fantastic. And
Shout out
I
to
agree.
Iceland. Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
Iceland, the best and most based before Trump ever went into office.
Yep.
I would just say they're pretty based, but they're not without their faults as well. They should probably allow Down syndrome people to be more part of society. That would be one thing that I would talk negative about.
Yep. So yeah, they're not perfect in every respect, but in this one particular thing, they did a cool act at one point in time. So,
and by the way, my wife says it's by far the most beautiful country she has ever been to, and it's not close.
Really, Iceland? Yeah. I gotta go.
Yep.
Same.
A lot of volcanoes over there, or a lot of volcanic rock, and just super fertile. I think it's super fertile. I don't know, but tons of glaciers. I got a friend up. He's not a friend. I have an associate up there who does glacier tours. So shout out to you, broski. The
Glaciers, hot springs, and just incredible mountains and scenery.
So yeah, excellent. Good to see you, Mr. Paul Sachs. Thank you for joining us tonight. We're also joined by everyone's favorite Jemmy. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Happy Wednesday to you too, Jemmy. I love seeing your comments. It's always a blessing to see you in the chats with us watching live or when you're on the replay, gang. It's freaking great. Shout out to Jemmy, everyone. We all love Jemmy. Good to see you, ma'am. And then we're also joined by Mr. Chad Donner Schwanz. Hello, fellow based crypto bros. Hello to you too, sir. Mr. Chad Donner Schwanz, the everyone's favorite ripped Pepe on the moon, astronaut man, going once, going twice, and he is sold. Man, what an excellent what an excellent group of folks we have with us tonight. And then we've got another chat that I wanna pull up on the subject of Rowan Atkinson. Daily driving the highest mileage and wrecking a McLaren F1. So there you go, Mr. Rowan Atkinson from Paul Sachs doing the crazy stuff with the McLarens. So that's freaking awesome. Love to see it. All right, guys, that is enough for the chat shoutouts. Let's see. Is there anything else anyone wants to talk
Legume power? I don't know what Fox Mulder legume power. I don't know what that is in relation to, but I do have a question. What is everyone's favorite legume?
Legume is a nut, right? Like peanuts or a bean?
Yes, peanuts are legumes, but it's not just peanuts. It's beans as well, like black beans, kidney beans, lentils, chickpeas, edamame. I don't know all of them, but those are from some examples of legumes.
All right. I have to do this here. So for those of you guys,
I would say cashew or sunflower seeds.
So
nice and salty.
A list of legumes. Oh man, how can I make this? Does that make it bigger? I think that expands. Okay, sweet. That works pretty good. Let's see what we've got on this list. 15 more. Oh man,
And this probably isn't everything, but
probably not. Chickpea, fava beans, lima beans, lentils. I know that some people don't like lima beans for some reason. I never understood that. Like lima beans are pretty.
so
Everyone's
he's
favorite
talking
flavor.
about okay. Pull up Fox Mulder's last comment.
I have a
Mr.
question
Fox
for you
Mulder.
guys. I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
So I'm allergic to nuts, right? All
Okay.
nuts, right?
Okay.
And so like, let me describe to you what a nut is to me, right? So when my dad opens a jar of peanut butter and I'm on the other side of the house, I just know. I'm just like, yo, what the fuck? and to me, it smells like a batch of chemicals, like something you find under the sink, or of your bathroom, right? And so that's my perception of nuts, right? Other nuts, they don't have any scent. But other times, like I feel itchy, like it's like in the air, like it's an ambient thing that I can sense. So my question to you is like, what does a nut taste like to you? Because I can Google it and it tells me it's an earthy, whatever. But I really want to know what a nut tastes like to you guys. Like any nut, just name a nut: pistachio, almonds, peanuts, whatever.
All nuts, tree nuts,
everything, dude.
Brazil nuts
tastes like earth.
Well, I'll say this: they all taste different. Some are a little bland. If they don't have salt on them, honestly, they don't have. Most of them don't have, in my opinion, a lot of flavor. The salt really helps to draw out the flavor of the nuts. But I would say that is a tough question. No one has ever asked.
That's what I'm saying.
I would say savory, like a chalky, sort of chalky, but also savory, right? So savory would be kind of like a buttery type of taste, However, it's like chalky. When I say it tastes like earth, if you ever stick, like literally, if you just take dirt, like nice dark dirt, stick it in your mouth, that's a part of what, like legitimately, that's probably the best experience you can have as far as a nut goes, in my opinion. But yeah, Bean is completely 100% correct. If you don't have like some kind of salt or a sweet topping on it, it's really bland.
You know what it looks like?
I think if you could combine the flavor of mushrooms and butter, kind of like what you're talking about, Nate. Mushrooms are probably the closest thing that I could think of that taste like nuts.
Fungus.
With the texture of some of these beans that are on this list. So like if you've ever eaten like peas or lima beans, it's similar in texture to those. It's not as chalky as lima beans. But like cooked peas, like split pea soup is
so good.
or something is similar to like very loose peanut butter. But that would be as close as I would go. I would say like mushrooms, but saltier, sweeter, and with the texture of these other things that are on this list. Peas, soybeans.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good, Will. I like what you did there. I'm having trouble because what's interesting, Jonathan, is we use nutty to talk about other foods. We never talk about what nuts actually taste like. It's like chicken. You can't say like, okay, what's chicken taste like, and then try to use
like alligator
to make chicken to taste, because we use chicken to taste like other foods.
Okay, so you know what's funny to me? So when I see a person like deshelling a nut, right, or like just eating almonds from like a little box or something, right, or in a bag, to me it looks like they're chewing on wood. Like they got some bark off the tree or got the tan bark off the playground, and they're just like stuffing it in their mouth. And so when I see it, I'm just like, yo, what does wood taste like, guys?
That's funny. I will say that Fox Mulder said something about pistachios. Pistachios are a unique flavor of a nut. Those are a little bit different than other nuts. I wouldn't even call that nutty, because it actually has a sweet and it has almost a creamy flavor to it.
Yep.
Along with it, without even the salt, like it actually has flavor to it in itself. And pistachios are one of my favorites. So shout out there. Anything pistachio flavored, like if I'm getting gelato, I'm probably going pistachio gelato. If I'm getting like a macaroon, those little French desserts, I'm probably getting pistachio. Like Straight up. It's just I don't like really sweet things, and that kind of gives you that little bit of sweetness with a little bit of the earthy texture as well. So it's kind of a good balance.
What about cashews? Doesn't cashews come from like a fruit?
Yeah,
Cashews
cashews
are
grow on the bottom of a fruit.
Cashews are buttery.
But cashews
Yeah,
are
they're
actually
buttery.
a fruit. Yeah, cashews.
Yeah, they are a
cashews
fruit.
are. Yeah, they are a fruit, right?
It's a soft nut. It's
Yeah.
softer than other nuts. It's
Yeah,
not as
they're a weird
crunchy,
one.
and they're buttery. Anyway,
Here's the answer to your nut question.
No, that's the thing. Right? I can Google this, right? I can
Yeah.
use AI, right? And it tells me, but I don't know.
Well, that's
a great question.
That's the
Like-
answer.
So for me, I'm going to go with. It's really hard, but I might go. Man, I'm trying to think of my favorite legume.
Hey.
I'll say
That's cashew.
I don't know, man. Depends on what I want. If I want soup, I'm going lentils, right? If I want chili, which I know chilies don't have beans. Okay, Miss whoever's from Texas, I don't care. Chili has beans, all right. Then I probably want like kidney beans or pinto beans. If I want Mexican food, I probably want black beans. So that's too hard to choose one legume. Terrible question. Who asked that?
What do you mean by chili beans?
No, chili, as in like the food.
Oh, like
So
chili.
if
with
you're in
beans.
Texas, they say it's
Yeah,
not chili if there's beans in it, and I'd say fuck
Chili
you.
with beans. Okay.
There's beans in my chili. They call it a
There's-
stew if there's beans, and I'm
Oh.
like, dude, just stop.
Yeah. Technically, yeah. No, I'm gonna put what I want in my food. It's not chili if it has croutons in it. Yeah, fuck you. I'm gonna put croutons in my chili. There you go. So the answer to the question of the favorite bean, I would probably go with peas or
We
peanuts.
didn't say bean, we said legume.
Legume? Okay, peas. I would go with peas. This one right here. Peas are delicious, and if not peas, then peanuts, and then probably lima beans would come in after that.
Peanuts are a good one, man. It's hard.
Edamame is good too, actually. Edamame is pretty good. So, yeah, I have no problem with any of these things on this list. Like, I would eat them all, but like peas would probably be first, peanuts after that, lima beans third, and then the rest of them.
I've never had lupin.
I've
Where's
heard
that
good
one?
things about lupins.
Oh, this one.
Not the werewolf type. Not the werewolf.
That looks like freaking. That looks like lilacs.
It
Or
does.
not lilacs.
Is it edible?
Is it lilacs? I
Looks
don't
like
know.
lilac, yes, but
Huh. Wow. Huh. Anyways, here we are on the DGen Roundtable learning about beans, everybody.
legumes. We're learning about legumes.
Legumes.
Welcome to Whiskey Wednesday, everybody,
About legumes.
where we talk
Okay.
about beans.
What about Jonathan? Can you eat legumes or can you not eat nuts?
Just nuts. So like, the legume that I can't eat here is the peanut.
Okay.
Everything else I could have. I mean, I'm not a fan of soybeans. I don't like soy.
I mean, yeah, there's.
Oh, you're not a soy boy?
No,
no,
Soy
no.
for you. I
No,
do
but
soy
like,
sauce.
I think the one I've never had is what's a lupin?
That's exactly what we just said.
Yeah. But like,
A werewolf bean.
You have a lupin bean too.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
the one that I don't want to get into the beans on this, so we could move
Maybe
on.
a fava bean
Yeah.
too. I have never had a fava bean.
Me neither. I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing this screen and bring us back to snap back to reality, everybody.
That was a pretty fun conversation, though.
That was interesting. I did not anticipate that. Oh my goodness. Oh Jesus Christ.
Sorry, Whiskey Wednesday is for us to get off on tangents, everybody. So
Exactly.
hopefully you'll have drinks too.
Ooh, we have a question from the audience, as a matter of fact, from Mr. Fox Mulder. Jonathan, can you have a nut flavoring extract?
Okay. So this is interesting, right? So nuts. So for example, if I don't know if how big Chick-fil-A is. Is Chick-fil-A big over there?
Yes.
Okay. So for some people, including myself, if the peanut oil, so Chick-fil-A, they cook in peanut oil, if you did not know. If they cook food in peanut oil at a high enough temperature, for some reason, or I guess the chemistry is involved, right? But it eliminates one of the enzymes where it would trigger my allergic reaction.
Okay.
Right. But like I do, I don't think their thermometer or how their oil is at the highest of the temperatures. According to what eliminates that enzyme, because sometimes I feel it in the back of my throat, but it's very, very, very mild, right? However, I can eat Chick-fil-A, and I do find that quite fascinating, right? I did research this a little bit because there was one time I had Chick-fil-A, and I was like, my throat feels a little itchy. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. And then later I went home and then I Googled what Chick-fil-A does with their oil, or how their food is processed, and they have peanut oil, right? But if you go to Five Guys, I'm staying away from that bitch because there's peanuts everywhere. But that is an interesting question. Yeah. So if peanut oil is cooked at a high enough temperature, it would eliminate the enzyme that will trigger the allergic reaction.
Okay.
What if you roast a peanut at a high enough temperature? Could you eat like a
roasted? So if you roast,
or is it because it's inside of it, you can't actually break down just the?
So I did have this problem with my family regularly. So my parents love to buy peanuts and roast them in a pressure cooker, right? And I live so my room is on the second floor, and just how the vapors go, it goes up right through the vents and everything, right, up the stairwell, right? And so sometimes I'd be like taking
a gas mask.
Yeah. So like sometimes I'd be taking a nap, right? It's like some random Saturday morning, right, or Saturday afternoon, and I'm just like, Saturday, I'm just gonna take a nap. I wake up and I'm choking. I'm just like, I can't breathe. Like, what is it? And then I go downstairs and I know what it is immediately, and it's because the gradual heat dissipation and how the peanuts are being boiled, the vapors, they don't get as hot, because it's going through the air, and then it's gradually going through the boil, and the boil could only go to at surface temperature 212 degrees. So that's the highest it can go, but oil can go 400 480 500 degrees, right, in Fahrenheit. But because of that and the limitation of water vapor, it causes the reaction to me. So it's really bad. I was being gassed. I was being gassed in my own home.
Welcome to World War I, baby. The trenches are in your own home by your own parents. Gas. This is the signal, by the way, for gas if you're ever in the military and you see people going like this, and then you see them like immediately trying to fumble for their gas mask. It's like, uh-oh. Bad times. Speaking of bad times, gentlemen, we are nearing the end of the show, and it's been a good time, but we're going to welcome on the next good times of us doing what's really cool and really awesome in the near future. So, Mr. Nate McGettit, what have you got going on in the near future, and where can the folks find you?
So I'm going to be uploading videos of like little commentaries that I've got on kind of what's happening in the world. I'm still going to be doing crypto content for sure, but I'm going to be moving out into more than just that, maybe a little bit of political stuff, as well as maybe just some funny videos that I came across that, just make people laugh and have a good time. And that's ultimately kind of what I want to do. It's just laugh, have a good time. So I just got done recording 4 more literally yesterday, and I've got 8 on standby now. So basically I'm going to be uploading them just about every single day. I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to do the thumbnail with Cass, Mrs. Producer, and how we're gonna like do that. But once that's figured out, it's gonna be like basically every day I got a video coming up. So yeah, go ahead, give me a like and subscribe over on the Ascending Man on YouTube, which is right there. You can go ahead and click that, or if you're on your phone, you can go ahead and also push that button right there. But other than that, looking for good times. I'm still busy as all hell because apparently I am a staple in my company as of currently, or at least the branch that I'm at. And there are chess games being played currently, as I was told today. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting what happens for this next coming year, specifically at the end of the year. So that'll be really fun and cool. But with that being said, I shall go ahead and move it over to Jonathan. What you got coming up? Where can people if people have questions for you, where can they go and ask you questions?
Well, you could find me in the Degen Roundtable Telegram. scan the QR code. You can find me, Jonathan Novero. That is my name. You could also find me on Instagram. Here's the plug. Yeah, so nothing much going on with me. I'm just chilling. I'm just doing my bartending. I'm looking for my next engineering job. Nothing too crazy. I'm going to the gym. I'm working on myself. I'm learning languages. It's cool. I'm just living my life at the moment.
Excellent. Mr. Brendan, where can the folks find you, and what have you got going on in the near future?
Nothing. Find me on X. Find me in the DGen Roundtable community Telegram, and just getting ready to move at some point in the near future. So, yeah, that's about it.
Excelente. We like it. So, x.com/anonymous_beans where you can find him. Click that link. Go say hi. For the folks at home, you guys can find me and all of the stuff that I am making over at will.pls.fyi. Like the gentlemen have already said, the best way for you to find any of us is to go to the DGen Roundtable Telegram and to find us over there in that little zone. As far as things that I've got going on in the near future, we have a book club coming up on Friday, and if Mr. Zenith is able to join us, then we're going to do Roger Ver's Hijacking Bitcoin. And if Mr. Zenith is not able to join us, then I'm going to read the Hex white paper. Just like we read the Hex, the Bitcoin white paper on the last one, we'll read the Hex one if Mr. Zenith is not able to join us. So that way we don't do his most favorite book while he is not available. So those are the things that are going to be happening in the near future. And then on Sunday, we are going to be going over the crypto news for the week, same as we always do here on the DGen Roundtable. For those of you guys that have never seen us before, you guys can catch us streaming here every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern. That is midnight London time, 5 p.m. Pacific time, and some magical time over in Oz. I don't know exactly when we're live over in Australia, but you guys know where to find us. Right here, same place you're watching us. We appreciate y'all hanging out and having fun, whether you're watching us live or on the replay. We love each and every single one of you. So, with that being said, it's time to go ahead and read the end of the show copywriting and make sure that I have my clickety-click thing in the right place. Ooh, they changed up StreamYard, so I need to figure out which one is our outro. That's our outro video right there. I found
That was so good.
Okay. So, here we go. Copywriting time. I want to thank you all for spending your valuable time with us here on the DGen Roundtable. As Agent J often says, we know that time is your most valuable asset, and we appreciate you spending each and every single moment of it right here with us. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Will Mitz. My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. But more importantly, you have been watching the DGen Roundtable. Mr. Producer, go ahead and get that trigger finger ready, because it's time to remind all the folks at home to remember to DGen responsibly.